Hi, today's recipe is another example of a dessert made in a monastery in Portugal. Portugal has a rich history of a lot of desserts being made in these monasteries and convents in the early 1400s, 1500s, when sugar production was really being ramped up around the New World, and Portugal was a huge part of that. The monastery of Santa Clara is in Coimbra, Portugal, a beautiful university town in the middle of Portugal. Just a gorgeous town to walk around. It's one of the oldest universities in all of Europe. And this monastery there was originally built in the 1200s. It was like a really small, almost like, I think, shack-like structure. Then Queen Isabel in the early 1300s built a much bigger monastery. That monastery that was built in the 1300s, because of its proximity to the river, after hundreds of years became dilapidated, and they built another monastery in 1670, and this is the newest monastery, Santa Clara Monastery, in that area. So if you go there, there's still what they call the Vela, the old monastery of Santa Clara, then the new monastery next to it. And that's where this dessert originated. The nuns used to sell it at the door of the monastery during religious festivals, and then in the 1600s, they started selling them to students, and this became a very popular dessert in Coimbra. Pastis de Santa Clara is to Coimbra what Pastis de Belém is to Lisbon. The first thing we're going to do is start making the dough for this recipe, because it needs to rest for about an hour after you make it. Okay, for the dough, we're going to need some softened butter. This butter, 1 stick of butter, I will try to cube it up a little bit just to make the blending a little easier. I'm just going to mix a little flour. Sometimes I do this when I'm trying to chop up butter into smaller pieces. Put a little bit of flour onto your butter, and that will prevent it from sticking to itself. Now into a large bowl, we're going to put in flour, 1 3/4 cup, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, then put in our butter. Next, we'll add in about 3 tablespoons of water. And now I'll start off with a spatula and just kind of blend it up a little bit. You know, the butter gets well incorporated into the flour. The water, I think butter is about 20% water. That starts, absorbing some of the flour, and it'll just start coming together to form a little dough ball like that. That's kind of what you're looking for. And because, measuring flour in cups is not super accurate, sometimes you might need to add like another teaspoon of water or maybe another teaspoon of flour, but you want to form a dough that isn't sticky, but that comes together. And it does take some time. I would at least knead it for like 3 minutes before deciding if you want to adjust any more flour or water. After it rests for about an hour, that water that's in the butter and the water we added will incorporate it into the flour. And remember, anytime there's no such thing as gluten in flour until you add water. It's 2 other proteins that come together to make gluten. So what happens, it takes time, but the gluten will start to develop too. Those 2 molecules, I believe it's gliadine and gliadine, come together to form gluten, and that'll make your dough much more resilient and the ability to stretch it out. So that's why it needs that time to rest. Something you're able to roll out is what we're looking for. If you want to check out one of my other recipes from the Coimbra area, check out, really delicious. It's a tentugal, a pastry from that same area, from the town of Tentugal, which is close to Coimbra, that is just so flaky, just delicious. Okay, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up in saran wrap, plastic wrap, and let it rest for an hour. And I'm putting the dough in the refrigerator, but it's kind of a delicate balance. You want the dough to be soft, so you almost need to play with it a little bit. Depending on, like, if it's summertime and your house is really hot, definitely put it in the refrigerator for a while, but you want it to be workable. So, like, say if you left it in your refrigerator overnight, which you can do, I would at least pull it out and leave it at room temperature. I would pull it out from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes to an hour before you plan on using it, because you still need that butter that's in there to kind of soften up to make it pliable so you could roll it out. Okay, now we're going to make the filling for the pastis de Santa Clara. While the dough is chilling, I will add in sugar, 1/2 cup of sugar, about 1 tablespoon of water, and about 1/4 teaspoon of, you could use lemon juice or even distilled white wine vinegar. The purpose of adding lemon juice, a little bit of flavor, but it's mainly to prevent possible crystallization of the sugar. If you have a digital thermometer, you want to bring the sugar up to a temperature of about 230 degrees Fahrenheit or about 112 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a thermometer, once it comes to a boil, let it boil for an additional 2 minutes. This one's already close. Basically, you're just making sure at this stage that it's well dissolved, and that's already there. Okay, next thing we want to do is put in our almond flour. It's a half cup of ground up almonds. Mix that in. And then my heat is about medium because I'm going to add in egg yolks and let it thicken up just a little bit. Now I'll add in my 4 egg yolks, and you want to stir it right away when you add it in. If you have a thermometer, you want to let this come up to about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. It's already there, so I could take that off the heat. If you don't have a thermometer, you want to just cook it over low heat for about maybe 2 minutes while constantly stirring. You want to add in about 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the filling. Take your egg almond mixture off the heat, and now that's going to cool down also. My dough's only been in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to set the filling aside, let my dough continue to rest for about 45 minutes. Then I'll begin the next process. All right, my dough has been resting for about an hour. The longer you let it rest, the easier it is going to be to work with it. So, 2 hours is better than 1, and 4 hours is better than 2, and overnight is fine also. So first thing we want to do is just put a little flour down. You shouldn't need a whole lot. It makes it a little easier to roll out. Then every once in a while, get a little more flour down there. And you want to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch thick. I have a 4-inch cutter, and then I'll just go around cutting out little circles. With the scraps, kind of knead them together. Sometimes it gets dry because you're adding more flour to it. It gets a little messy, but just kind of sprinkle it, get some water in your hands and sprinkle some water and just kind of slowly work it into the dough. It'll take a few minutes of kneading it in, and it'll slowly absorb back into the dough. And I highly recommend, if you haven't made these before, to make maybe like 2 as a test batch to see how much filling you need to put in there. Because if you put too much filling, it'll burst out. So for my cookie cutter, which is about 4 inches in diameter, I need just a little bit less than a tablespoon. I'll brush it with a little bit of water along the edges. That just helps it stick. Then I'll fold it over and kind of like squash down that filling. And then you just kind of want to pinch the edges together. And now you want to bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. Okay, I have these in the oven for about 22 minutes. You want to cook them anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. You can see they don't get a lot of color because there's no sugar in the dough, so you don't get that caramelization that you would if there was sugar in the dough. It's been about 10 minutes since I took them out of the oven. I'm going to brush them with a little bit of butter. The main purpose of brushing them with butter is just so the powdered sugar has something to stick to. And now I'll liberally dust them with powdered sugar. Now you can make pastéis de Santa Clara from Coimbra, Portugal. Get out to Coimbra, beautiful city. Give these a try. Now go cook with someone you love. Don't forget to check out my website, justcookwithmichael.com. The recipes there are very organized, they're easy to print out, easy to search for recipes by dessert, fish, meat from Madeira. You could search specifically for recipes from Azores.